This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.
Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the Bullscast with me, George Holloway. Hereford sealed successive wins this week to start the new season at Edgar Street in style. We'll reflect on Saturday's 1-0 win over Marine first, before discussing the 3-0 victory over Radcliffe on Tuesday night.
Jackson whips it in, headed away by Howkins, and then Billy Phillips latches onto the loose ball. There's no men back for Radcliffe. They're desperately trying to get back to their own goal. Phillips is still going. Phillips is through on goal. Can he make it 3 here? Billy Phillips cuts in on his right foot. Yes, he can! It's Hereford 3, Radcliffe 0, and he puts the cherry on top of the Hereford cake. Hereford are going to make it 2 wins from 2 at Edgar Street to start the 26-27 season.
Keith Hall is alongside me to review all of the major talking points from both games. We'll look at the instant impact made by Notts County loanee Harrison Iwunze, discuss the change in Hereford's playing style this season, and reflect on Kam Kandola's red card against Radcliffe. We'll then finish by looking ahead to the fixture at Worksop this weekend. That's all to come in this episode of the Bullscast. Keith, thanks for joining me. Hereford made it 2 wins from 2 at Edgar Street on Tuesday night. How good were both performances?
Yeah, it just seems to get better and better, doesn't it, really? Marine, I thought we just about did enough throughout the game. Got that vital goal after 77 minutes from Iwunze coming on as a substitute. But we played some nice touch against Marine, not necessarily scoring the goals that we needed to. But against Radcliffe, I thought we really did play some cracking football, really, getting the ball nicely down on the floor, which is how I prefer to see football played. Plenty of deliveries through midfield and lots of work on and off the ball, and I thought it made for a very entertaining game, not least because the referee was so awful. But anyway, enough of that.
Let's focus on the Marine game first. A tight match with few chances for both sides, but it was Hereford who controlled the game for large periods, Keith.
I thought they did, yeah, and it's noticeable at Hereford, obviously, with Keziah Marketing working well down the flanks and Billy Phillips linking up as well. It made for a good performance, I thought.
Substitute Harrison Iwunze broke the deadlock on his home debut with 13 minutes left on the clock. How calm and composed he was in front of goal.
Yeah, he did really well, didn't he? I mean, you got to mention the through ball. He made that run for and got on the end of it, then showed good composure to check back onto his right foot and launching it in through a crowd of players' legs, really. And then the goalkeeper slightly unsighted, maybe. But the ball nestled right in the corner of the net from that. And, yeah, happy days.
It was the first time Tustin, Spokes and Kandola had started together in midfield. How impressive were they both individually and as a unit?
Well, you get the energy, don't you? The effervescence, as I call it, from Harry Tustin. Always going to give you 100% breaking out at pace as well. So Hereford then very useful on the break. And I think Luke Spokes is just showing what class he's got. Range of passing, gets up and down between the boxes really well. He has got an eye for goals, so I think he'll certainly get a few goals for Hereford this season.
It's what works so well with the three of them, Keith, that they just add something a little bit different.
Yeah, as I say, it does look as though the work that was involved in attracting the players throughout the summer is paying off. They're not just signing, oh, he's a good player, we'll sign him. He's got to fit the profile and certain systems the way that Aaron Downs and Harry Powell want Hereford to play. And so if you get that knitted together, then it's a sum of the parts. It's not necessarily the individuals, and it's really working well, I think.
Isaac Abankwa had a glorious chance in added time to equalise from a corner, but somehow he put his header wide. Do you think, though, Keith, on the balance of play, we got the right result?
I think we did get the right result. Maybe it should have been 2-1 and not 1-0. But, yeah, it was a really good chance, wasn't it? Headed it down, wide of the post. We all had, big sigh of relief that went wide, because I think if we'd lost 2 points from the game, that would have been rough justice, really.
Yeah, and Hereford's good record against Marine continues, particularly at Edgar Street. OK, so on to Tuesday night. Hereford were looking to make it 2 from 2 at home against a Radcliffe side who had lost both their opening games. And they were given a helping hand by a former Bull 11 minutes into the game.
Yeah, he played 8 games for Hereford. Tom Donaghy on loan from Fleetwood. A Paul Caddis signing that he needed to make at the time. I thought he was a good shot stopper in his day with the Bulls, but I always seemed to have some anxiety when the ball was hanging in the box. So whether they picked up on that and whether that was a tactic that was used, a couple of times underneath the crossbar, and that first one after 10.5 minutes from Keziah Martin, he was flapping a bit, didn't really know what to do, and dropped it virtually straight into the back of the net directly from that corner. So that certainly set Hereford on the way and got the crowd up nice and early.
And how positive is it, Keith, to have a really good set-piece taker with a left foot in the side?
Well, yeah, absolutely, you're right. If you can get the defenders onto the end of it as well, and might start scoring goals more frequently from set pieces, corners especially. And Keziah Martin has got a sweet left foot, and he's proved that with free kicks as well as corners. So let's hope that continues.
2 good chances to double Hereford's lead fell to Corley Cox on the half-hour mark. He's put in some really impressive displays, Keith, but is that the final piece that's missing? A bit of finesse in front of goal?
Well, he's absolutely tireless. He's running his heart out for the club, for the shirt, and it's really showing. But he's getting into the right positions, and as a striker, that's what you've got to do. You don't lose confidence in yourself. Get into those positions, and he will start scoring. I'm sure of that. Yeah, he could have scored one that he shot, and I would give credit to Donaghy for initially saving it. When it came out, perhaps Corley should have hit the back of the net, but blazed it over the top of the crossbar. But I'm absolutely confident he will start scoring goals. He's given so much to Hereford in that 75 minutes or 80 minutes, whatever it's been so far, and that's helped Harrison Iwunze in a way, because he's coming on and the defence are tired because of the sheer workload that Corley Cox has put into the performance. So again, it's a sum of the parts really, and Aaron Downs has tactically made the changes at the right times, and it's worked on both occasions at Edgar Street.
And does that go some of the way to explaining why he started Corley Cox again on Tuesday night and had Harrison Iwunze on the bench?
Yeah, I didn't want to be overrun in midfield, especially against Radcliffe, so I think that's why we had Corley Cox up front as a lone striker. But he got the ability of the other players on the flanks. We talked about Keziah Martin, but Billy Phillips was very influential in that as well. And so that helped. And Corley does have the ability to hold it up and bring those players into play. It's not as if he's just a natural goal scorer in and around the box. But I think he's bringing players in as well. So, he can't lose his place, strangely, at the moment, I don't feel. Iwunze scoring the goals. Maybe if he started and it worked the other way, when maybe Corley Cox would score. But I think the way that he's going about his business is giving headache, in a way, to Aaron Downs, because they're both contributing so much.
Hereford continued to control the game, but their plans nearly derailed when Kam Kandola was sent off on 72 minutes. What on earth happened, Keith?
Well, I think it was a lunging challenge, and the referee had got a yellow card in his hand, but didn't actually brandish it. And there was a whole commotion then with Lewis Maynard, wasn't it? He ran 25 yards, started pushing and shoving. I think it was because it was right by the away dugout. All of the Radcliffe coaching staff and managers and substitutes, they all got involved as well. And it went almost into an enormous rugby ruck in a way, and that, I'm sure, that influenced the referee to upgrade, if you want to call it in perspective, that yellow card to a red. And it'll be interesting to see if Hereford do appeal again against that. They don't tend to work. They always seem to back the referee. But for me, if it was as bad as Radcliffe were indicating, the referee surely would have jogged in from 10 yards away and got the red card out immediately. If it's a straight red card, you expect to see it, and that would stop some of the commotion as well if it was that bad. But because he delayed, and there was so much commotion going on, I just felt, again, the referee was influenced by the antics of the opposition.
From where we were, it looked like a honest challenge. He simply caught Danny Greenfield late, who, to be fair, the Radcliffe midfielder didn't make too much of it. He genuinely looked like he was hurt. As you said, it was really Lois Maynard, the Radcliffe skipper, who blew the whole situation up, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah, I think because both feet may have been off the ground, it certainly deserved a yellow card, but no more than that.
Yeah, very strange decision from the referee. So an emboldened Radcliffe threw everything at an equaliser, leaving themselves short at the back for Hereford's second goal. How impressive was the work put in by Danny Waldron to set up Harrison Iwunze?
Oh, he did so well, didn't he, to get past, was a substitute actually, who's been a thorn in the Hereford side quite a few times. Jordan Hume, who was on as a late substitute to give more attacking impetus to Radcliffe at that stage, but Danny Waldron showed such determination get past him. You know, he was obstructed continuously, but he was still hassling away. He knew that he got the pace to get away from him if he could just untangle himself from Jordan Hume, and then as soon as he did, he was off and running. And credit to him for realising Iwunze was available, and we were just shouting, give it in the commentary box, and he did, Danny Waldron, straight into the path of Iwunze, who calmly slotted it in for his second goal and 2 substitute appearances. So the roof came off at that stage. That was really important. It felt like some sort of justice for Hereford to get that second goal.
Interesting to see that Aaron Downs put on another forward after the red card, Keith, instead of a defender.
Yeah, again, in the post-match interview, he said we wanted to keep that ball up the pitch, so by having 2 up there, if we can get it, that takes a bit of weight off the defence. Although everybody looks at it and says, oh, that's brave to put 2 up front, there's logic behind it. It won't always come off, but it certainly did on the night. And Hereford, got that much-needed victory and a 3rd goal.
Yeah, absolutely, and it allowed Waldron and Iwunze to link up for the second. So, as you say, Keith, on to the 3rd goal. Billy Phillips made it 3 in the 6th minute of added time. Some suspect defending from Radcliffe, but a brilliant solo goal nonetheless.
Yeah, great close control, wasn't it? He must have run half the length of the pitch at least, probably more. He was just sprinting as much as he could. I thought they might catch him up at some stage, but they didn't. Cool finish after that lung-busting run into the penalty area, checked back and then rolled it in. So very, very impressive from Billy Phillips to do that. And again, 97th minute, 3rd goal, just as you described in commentary, the icing on the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. And alongside Luke Spokes, he's one player, Billy Phillips, that we've both highlighted over the first few games.
Yeah, his close control is very good. He's going to get hammered on a few occasions, I'm sure, but he seems to be able to take it, win the free kicks and move on from there. He's twisting and turning, but he's got good insight as well. So some of those nice quick passes, very impressive. Bit of movement off the ball, likes obviously working on that right flank with Joseph James and others, not just Joseph, but they've got that understanding. It's bound to be there from playing so many times with Bristol City, and it's certainly paying off. And that enables Aaron Skinner actually to end up on the left-hand side of the defence, and he's been solid since his return after having a difficult pre-season overcoming that injury. So he hasn't had as many minutes as the rest of the players, but I thought, Skinner's chipping in with solid performances.
So 2 brilliant wins at Edgar Street. And how much credit do the Bulls have to take, Keith, for keeping both Finlay Sinclair-Smith and Rio Clegg fairly quiet in their respective games.
Yeah, absolutely. Rio Clegg was actually pulled off, wasn't he, in the end? It actually took him off. You were a bit shocked in the commentary position that they had taken that main danger off. But I suppose there were 3 or 4 available centre forwards for Bernard Morley, and that's what he chose to do. Didn't work, fortunately for Hereford. Was a bit of a battering ram for a while, but Hereford certainly withstood that. And again, credit to Carl Hawkins and Will Merritt for dealing with it in the most part. As it was coming in, we didn't give them too many opportunities, Radcliffe, whatsoever.
Yeah, 26 goals last season for Rio Clegg, and with 15 minutes to go and you need a goal, it certainly did seem like a strange decision from Bernard Morley. Let's take a look at results from elsewhere in the National League North on game week 3. It finished Bedford 2, Buxton 1, Brackley 0, Kings Lynn 2, Darlington 0, Chester 1, and Hebburn 1, Worksop 0. Hensford drew 2-2 at home to Southport. It finished Marine 0, Chorley 2, Merthyr 2, Telford 2, while South Shields earned a 1-0 win at Morecambe. Oxford City drew 1-1 at home to Harborough. It finished Scarborough 3, Spennymoor 0, while Spalding United and Macclesfield played out a 0-0 draw. So that all means after 3 games, Chester top the table with 9 points. South Shields are in second, also on 9 points with an inferior goal difference. Hereford are down in 7th on 6 points with 2 wins from 3 matches. So what's coming up in game week 4? Well, Hensford travel to Telford, Buxton host Hebburn, Chester are at home to Spalding United, while Scarborough travel to Chorley. It's Harborough versus Darlington, Kings Lynn versus Marine, Macclesfield host Brackley, Radcliffe host Morecambe, while Merthyr travel to South Shields. Southport are at home to Bedford, Spennymoor host Oxford City, while of course Hereford will travel to Worksop. Hereford are back on the road this Saturday as they face Worksop, who, like the Bulls, have won 2 of their first 3 games, although they did fall to a 1-0 defeat at Hebburn on Tuesday night. For the Bulls, Keith, it's all about continuing the positive momentum.
Yeah, they've got to maintain that. As we heard from Harry Tustin, he's well aware that it's a tighter pitch. It's an artificial surface, so it won't be quite the same for Hereford. A much better surface than we saw at Buxton. So in that regard, Hereford did okay on it last season. Still very an artificial bounce up there, and Worksop do play a long ball, long direct. They have lost their main man, Aaron Martin, 34-year-old striker. Funny enough, going to Guiseley. I thought he might go to another National League North side, but he's chosen to go to Guiseley. And indeed, Jay Rollins, who's a right winger, he's also moved across to Guiseley. So they've had to be replaced alongside experienced players like Joe Leasley and Luke Chadwick. So a lot of changes made by Craig Parry, the manager up there. And I don't think it'll be an easy game at all, because if they play as intensely as they did against Hereford last season, Hereford won the game 3-2, but Worksop didn't give up and they piled back at Hereford in the second half. And it was good that Hereford were 3 up at half time, because it ended up 3-2, as we know.
Yeah, Aaron Martin was Worksop's top scorer last season with 13 goals, so a big loss for them. They finished 5th last season, 16th, 5 points above the relegation zone. Who were the main threats for Worksop this time around, Keith?
Well, we talked about the striker there, so they brought Cian Harrod in 24-year-old, formerly with Oldham Athletic. So he'll be the main force up front, I would have thought. Ryan Viggers has come in from Buxton, but he was on the bench against Hebburn when Worksop last night as we were recording this. But he could be a threat as well coming in. They've got some experience. Andrew Boyce is centre-back coming in from Scunthorpe United, and they've done very well in recent seasons. As I say, 36 years of age. And Hatton, I think, has come in, an attacking midfield player from Rotherham United. That's Ben Hatton. So there's a few players there that have got threats and will be threats against Hereford, but I just feel hopefully Hereford have got that momentum to get a positive result up at Sandy Lane. That'd be a really good one.
How do you think Aaron Downs will be looking at his midfield now, with obviously Patemo having been suspended, Kandola potentially being absent, and of course Joe Willis still out of the picture with his injury?
Well, the hope will be that Preston Patemo, it's his third match of his ban against Worksop, so the supporters will certainly be hoping that Kam Kandola's suspension doesn't kick in until after the Worksop game. But if it isn't, then the Hereford will have to adjust things a little bit. Whether Aaron Skinner then goes into midfield, Liam Roberts slotting in as left wing back, that's one option, I suppose. But you've still got the energy of Harry Tustin and the influence of Luke Spokes in midfield with Phillips there to assist. So I don't think it's going to be an absolute, match deciding factor if Kandola isn't actually able to play, because I think Hereford have got, it's not a full squad, because we are missing Joe Willis still from another midfield player there. Finn Holmes out on the left flank. So yeah, there will be decisions to be made, but way Aaron Downs goes through things in infinite detail, I'm hoping that we come up with the right formula.
And it was really good to see Joe Willis and Finn Holmes warming up before the match on Tuesday night. Yeah,
obviously not close to immediate return, I don't think, but they wanted obviously to be involved, be part of the Hereford squad on a match night, and I'm sure they thoroughly enjoyed it. And it may be that they're just basically stretching it out around the pitch, but that's a good sign. And what we don't want is them to come and race back early. But Aaron Downs doesn't seem to be a manager who's likely to do that. I think he'll be very, very careful with both players, because over a 46-match season, the more we can get Finn Holmes and Joe Willis on the pitch, in my opinion, will be big assets to the club in the weeks and months to come.
So 6 points from a possible 9. How confident are you that Aaron Downs' side can make it 9 from 12 at Worksop?
Well, as he said, we mustn't get into the state of affairs that we think we've cracked it. It's so early in the season. We've got Chester to come immediately after the Worksop fixture. I mean, that could be an absolute belter at Edgar Street, that one. Saturday 29th of August. That should be a big crowd, because Chester will probably have a 600 following on a Saturday afternoon. So we could be doing that 3,500, 4,000 maybe even at Edgar Street if Hereford were to get a result at Worksop. So it's all working well, but we must just lower our sort of excitement a little bit and don't get too carried away with it. But I think most supporters are absolutely loving the style of play, working it through, not too much long ball. You've got to change it occasionally, mix it up a little bit. But hardly ever did Hereford do that last night against Radcliffe. And in fact, to me, the more they played it through midfield, the better it looked, and the more the players seemed to enjoy it. Iwunze especially. I know it was only, a 15-20 minute performance from him, but he was crashing into challenges as well from both his impetus and from the defenders, but he picked himself up and he always got a smile on his face, thoroughly enjoying the night's work. And it's great to see that, because that enthusiasm is emitted throughout the team and the supporters as well. So it all makes for a really entertaining a night at Edgar Street.
Yeah, we spoke about it, didn't we, on Match Day Live a few times. That is the biggest difference from last season, isn't it, Keith? How good Hereford look in possession.
Yeah, I think it's because we've had time pre-season to work through it. It's not a question of, we've got Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So there's no training whatsoever in that late run. All of a sudden, Aaron Downs and Harry Pell have had the opportunity to, week in, week out, have a Tuesday and a Thursday training sessions, and it's obviously paying off. Harry Pell's a bit of a disciplinarian in terms of the workload that he's putting on the player, so they look pretty fit to me. And obviously Aaron Downs has got the tactical nous, hopefully, to maintain this great start.
Keith, thanks for your time and safe travels to Worksop.
Indeed, should be a good one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Bullscast. Don't forget, we're now available on YouTube and Amazon Music, so there's more ways to follow us than ever before. Until the next time, it's bye for now.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.